Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
This video here I want you to see. It's pretty interesting. So let's go to the video here. We'll talk about that.
Donald Trump's dark past continues to surface, and we here at the Midas Touch Network have this exclusive report for you. We've managed to locate video from a 1991 beauty pageant called Look of the Year that Donald Trump threw with a guy named John Casablancas from Elite Model Management. Casablancas died in 2013, allegedly from throat cancer. Casablancas had affairs, sexually assaulted 15-year-old girl, a 17-year-old girl. I'm going to go through Casablancas' background with you. We hear a lot about Trump's connections with Epstein. Donald Trump was also very close with this Casablancas guy who Elite Model Agency was used to prey on underage girls as well. All right, so let me share this with you. You have Donald Trump at this 1991 beauty pageant. Here are some of the photos that we have. You see him right here. The little girls would come into the room, again, mostly underage. They would come into the room in bathing suits, very little clothing. And he would sit there and he would judge them and he would determine if they can make it through the next round. Here are some of the photos we've been able to identify. You can see Donald Trump right there looking at these girls who he made wear the bathing suits and kind of walk in front of him. And again, some of these girls as young as 14. Here's a photo of what the actual competition looked like from the 1991 Look of the Year. This was from the Guardian's report on it. Let me read for you what they said, what happened the night before the event. Then I'm going to show you some of the video that we've been able to locate at the Midas Touch Network. So this was a photo from the Guardian article, a still from a previously unseen footage of the 1991 Look of the Year finale. Their articles from about 10 years ago or so. Teen models, powerful men, and private dinners when Trump hosted Look of the Year. It's actually from 2020. In the early 1990s, Donald Trump judged the world's biggest modeling competition, since hit by allegations of abuse. This is how people who were there remember it. On September 1st, 1991, a large private yacht cruised toward the Statue of Liberty. It was a clear, breezy evening, and from the upper deck of the Spirit of New York, a golden sunset could be seen glinting off the Manhattan skyline. Downstairs, a party was in flow. Scores of teenage girls in evening dresses and miniskirts, some as young as 14, danced under disco lights. It could have been a high school prom were it not for the crowd of older men surrounding them. As the evening wore on, some of the men, many old enough to be the girls' fathers or even grandfathers, joined them on the dance floor, pressing themselves against the girls. One balding man in a suit wrapped his arms around two young models, underage girls, leering into the film camera that was documenting the evening. "Can you get some beautiful women around me, please?" The party aboard the Spirit of New York was one of several events that Donald Trump, then 45, attended with a group of 58 aspiring young models that September. Again, mostly underage girls. And it talks about how this was part of the Elite Look of the Year competition. Elite Model Management was run by John Casablancas. He since died in 2013. So Casablancas' marriage to his second wife, Jeanette Christensen, ended in 1983 when it was revealed he was having an affair with a 15-year-old girl who he described as a woman child, is how he described the girls that he would be with. He called them woman child. This was, again, one of Donald Trump's best friends. And then he had a marriage to Aline Worlminger, who was a 17-year-old from the Look of the Year competition. A 2020 Guardian investigation into Elite's Look of the Year competition uncovered allegations from former contestants and industry insiders that these competitions The events that I'm about to show you that Trump attended as well were used by Casablancas and others to engage in sexual relationships with vulnerable young models, some of whom were teenagers. The allegations range from sexual harassment, exploitation, and in some cases rape. The investigation highlighted a culture where young girls, often aged 14 to 18, were exposed to older men in powerful positions at events like after parties where alcohol was served to minors. Okay. So now I have the videotape of the Look of the Year 1991 competition. I have the full event. It's too hard to watch. If you want me to post it, I'll post it on another thread. But let me just show you some of the lowlights of this event. This is what happened. And you can see that these are young girls. These are little girls dressed like in very little clothing, dancing, and just watch for yourself. Let's play it.
The Look of the Year contest is the ultimate contest for women that want to go all the way in the modeling business.
Featuring 58 of the world's most beautiful young women competing for more than $700,000 in prizes.
Wow.
Chance of a dream come true. Career as one of modeling's superstars. We'll take you behind the scenes and onto the runway. You'll see the fun, feel the excitement. You'll pick your favorite, along with our panel of expert and celebrity judges. Enjoy front row VIP seats at our gala evening. One of these contestants will be selected as the Girls Look of the Year.
And then here's another clip where it talks, and you heard Donald Trump there as well. So here's another clip right here of the kind of pre-competition to get into the finals, if you will, and just watch how creepy this is. Here, play this clip.
58 contestants participated in an exhaustive round of personal interviews designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special.
Your 5'9" reading? Serious, huh?
We made measure again tonight before the game.
Okay. Thank you very much, Amy.
The concentration was intense inside the judging room.
They don't like you as you are.
And out.
I'm just so excited.
Each girl was considered not only for her beauty and poise, but also for her personality and that indefinable
Something extra that makes a top model.
Okay, you want to pull your hair back 1 second? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ingrid. Good luck for tonight.
Thank you.
When it came time to choose the 21 finalists, emotions ran high as each judge expressed his or her opinion.
The possible finalists.
You said she was the best, and I said, yeah.
Non, je te dis non, je te trouve...
Now, one of the things that we know as well is that Donald Trump, and he talked about this, that he would inspect the girls in the beauty pageants that he would hold. You know, he held a lot of beauty pageants, so you'll just, whichever beauty pageants he's talking about here, and he would look at them naked and he would inspect them. And he said because he was the leader of the competition, he was the owner, you can inspect them naked. He said, you do it when you're the leader. They let you do it. Here he is on audio saying that to Howard Stern. So you can just hear in his own words. So you know that I'm not paraphrasing. Just hear what he says. Here, play this clip.
Well, you could also say as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things.
And then we have the confirmation of what's happening from some of the contestants in the beauty pageant. Like here was Miss 2006 North Carolina describing what would happen when Donald Trump would show up in the room. Let's play it.
Is it normal to see men in dressing rooms at pageants and the owner of the pageant?
No. The director of the North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Alabama pageants, it's very much a family atmosphere. She doesn't even go backstage when the girls are getting ready. Only the female chaperones are allowed backstage in the dressing rooms with the girls. I've never had an experience where there were men or directors or anything like that walking back in the dressing rooms.
Yeah. As I understand, there, you have an experience of something that happened the night before the pageant?
Well, not the night before the pageant, but when we were in New York City on the media tour, they were doing a book launch at Trump Towers for the Universal Beauty book, and they had a bunch of former Miss USAs and Miss Universes and all 51 of us, and we did the red carpet, and that was tons of fun. And then they lined us all up, and Trump went down the line, and he shook your hand and, looked you over, looked you up and down, head to toe, and was just checking everybody out.
And you felt?
I felt very dirty. It was very creepy. It's kind of like when you're at a bar and a creepy guy is checking you out. That was the experience for me.
Now here is Miss Arizona 2001. Tasha Dixon is her name, describing what she observed when she was in the competitions. Here, play this clip.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
As Miss Arizona 2001, Tasha Dixon competed in the Miss USA pageant. Donald Trump owned the contest along with Miss Universe and Miss Teen USA for 19 years.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis. To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him.
And Dixon has strong opinions about what she thinks were Trump's motivations.
I'm telling you, Donald Trump owned the pageant for the reason to utilize his power to get, around beautiful women.
Dixon, who lives in West Hollywood, was 18 at the time.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
The year she competed, the theme was empowering women. And after hearing recent audio of Trump talking about women, she decided to speak out.
I'm Miss Arizona, so I veer more on the conservative side. But I just like to choose what's right.
We should also remember how Donald Trump treated Alicia Machado. She was Miss Universe 1996, and Donald Trump described her as being too heavy and too overweight, and that he had to work on the way she looked. I mean, just completely misogynistic and shaming, and just how ridiculous is this? But here's a clip of Donald Trump next to Alicia Machado talking about that. Here, play this clip.
For the first time in the history of the pageant, viewers can actually participate. There'll be a question up, and the viewers can actually call in and vote. Let's bring up the question. It says, should a pageant title holder be required to maintain her physical appearance during her reign? Why do you think this is an important question the viewers would care about?
Well, it's something that really has come up over the last year, and Alicia has done an incredible job. She really has turned out to be one of the great Miss Universes, I will say. And she had a little problem during the middle where she gained a little weight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's probably right.
I don't think so.
Okay. And so...
Well, let's talk about that debate, because it's interesting. The viewers are going to make a decision today, and they're going to vote in one way or the other. Alicia, do you think that should matter? Because after all, you were voted in as being the most beautiful woman in the world.
I am the most beautiful woman in the world.
I certainly don't doubt that.
With 20 pounds or no pounds, I am the most beautiful woman in the world.
Do you not think that it's important to maintain a certain look during that year?
Yes, of course, but I think all women in the world have a problem with the weight.
Right.
And I think maybe I had some problem with this, but I'm fine now. And I think 15 pounds is nothing with 20 years old. And I think the most important for the next Miss Universe, and then is no more dinners, no more lunch, no more breakfast, and no more when you travel, diplomatic dinners and parties.
I think what Donald's talking about, and I think most people agree, that there is a look to Miss Universe.
And more time for go to the gym. It's very important because when you are Miss Universe, you don't have time for nothing.
Right. Donald, how do you think that this Miss Universe will be different from the others?
Well, I don't know that it's going to be different. We have many beautiful women, and it's actually incredible. I was over there today, and the women are magnificent. And so I don't think it's going to be different. It's going to be more of the same.
And just to remind you of the issues regarding Alicia Machado, they came out in the 2016 election. Hillary Clinton brought it up. Here's a nice summation of what went down. Here, play this clip.
And some people, when they have pressure, donate. And some people, when they have pressure, eat too much, like me, but like Alicia. And she had a little problem during the middle where she gained a little weight.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she's probably right.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Donald Trump called you Miss Piggy.
Yes, Miss Piggy, Miss Housekeeping.
How did that make you feel?
So sad.
Congratulations, you're citizens of the United States.
Donald, she has a name.
Where did you find
her
this?
name
Where
is
did you find
Alicia
this?
Machado.
Where did you find
and
it?
she has become a U.S. citizen, and you can bet she's going to vote this November.
Okay, good.
And if you remember, there was a time where Donald Trump's competitions were being boycotted because when some of these allegations were coming out, and he talked about grabbing women by their genitals without consent. Here's how they were talking about it at the Miss USA competition in Louisiana. Play this clip.
We saw that Donald Trump announced on Twitter he would not be here for the pageant tonight. How does that change things for you? I knew it was going to be first. I just knew it was going to be first. I'm going to let and I'm sorry, something interrupted me. I'm wondering if that changes anything as far as the pageant goes tonight, or as far as the brand of the pageant tonight.
You know, as I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, this pageant is an opportunity to be about the women and the city, and that's what we're focusing on. And you know what? It's good for us that we're just focusing full steam ahead. It hasn't really changed because that's all we've been doing for the last few days. And I know that there's a big campaign going on out west, and we're focusing here in Louisiana.
And then I'll add this as well. Here's Donald Trump talking about Lindsay Lohan on Howard Stern. Lindsay Lohan at this point was either 17 years old or just turned 18. I forget. But she was very young when Donald Trump made these statements about her. Here, play this clip.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan now?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
right?
You imagine the sex with this troubled?
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day.
How come the deeply troubled women?
Yes.
Deeply, deeply troubled.
Right.
They're always the best in bed. If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable.
I can tell from the.
You don't want to be with them for the long term, but for the short term, there's nothing.
And this is what Donald Trump had to say about Paris Hilton when she was 12 years old. Here, play this clip.
Really beautiful is Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton. And I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12.
She's hot.
Her parents are friends of mine. And, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, who the hell is that?
Did you want to bang her?
She is at 12, I wasn't interested. I've never been into that.
Right.
They've sort of always stuck around that 25 category.
But even at 12, you were kind of
no,
like,
but
wow,
I
she's hot.
saw at 12 she was beautiful. But honestly, Paris gets knocked and this and that. But she's very beautiful.
Is she
She
dumb?
is flawless. She's dumb like a fox.
Have you seen the video, the sex video?
I have seen it.
You did. What'd you do? You went on the internet?
it was just. How
did you see that?
What
did you do?
Melania showed it to me.
She did?
She showed it to me.
What did you think of that?
I think it's probably unfortunate, and perhaps it made. What is that noise?
That's the tape.
So I share all of that with you, the relationships with Casablanca, Elite Management. I show you those 2 video clips there. And you can see what was going on, obviously, in light of everything that's happening with Trump covering up the Epstein files. The information is all out there before our eyes. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Well, pretty interesting how all that stuff is still floating around out there for anybody to just pick up and, use for whatever reason. makes you think that, you know, what that client list that Ghislaine Maxwell has is just one little piece of the puzzle of a big puzzle, that, and all the pieces are just scattered out there in public. You know, I think he's got a lot more to worry about than just Maxwell. But one of the things that went through my mind as I was watching that, and this is not like the first time this issue has come up regarding these pageants, is that, you know, parents, where the hell were they while this shit was going on? You send your 14, 15-year-old daughter to these goddamn pageants, and then something happens, and you're like, oh, let's blame the pageant. Well, you can blame the pageant, and you can blame yourself, because, you know, people just don't seem to make the connection in their mind that pageants like that are really just breeding grounds for pedophiles to take advantage of these young girls and exploit them in whatever way they see fit. Okay? And I feel like this is really, it's like one of the most obvious, ding, 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 don't do it. Like, don't talk to strangers. You know, why is it that, you know, parents for so long would just, you know, assume that these kids are safe? We know now they weren't, because they come out and they say, oh, well, Trump was in the back with us and he was watching us naked, you know, and saying some things. And then, of course, you hear him on Howard Stern and the stuff he said on that show. And then you hear him talking about his daughter, okay? Hey, and he's still doing pageants, and you're still sending your daughters to this man, okay? I feel like, you know, we can't just put all the blame on Trump. Sure, he's the fucking criminal elite here, but where's the common sense out there? Where the hell is the common sense that people learn from this? Okay, these things that happen are not just, you know, opportunities, as a lot of these parents are thinking that, oh, this is an opportunity for my daughter. It's not just for your daughter, too. It's for the pedophile that runs it. An opportunity for them. And how do you think a lot of these young people get themselves mixed up in prostitution and stuff like that? It's because of folks like Trump who are out there opening the door, making opportunities for these young people to, you know, make money. And in the meantime, yeah, they're throwing their image out online, selling these photographs, pedophiles to pedophile. It really, the whole system of these pageants at that age, when they're older, it's on them, okay? You know, when these people like 18, 19 and older, it's on the girls, okay? It's on them. But when they're still living at home with their parents and stuff, and this shit's going on, and they're out there pushing their daughters into that, okay, that's where I say, okay, you guys know better. You should know better. I don't know how many of you people watch Crime Watch Daily. It's a show that I watch. It's on YouTube. But if you look at that show, most of the episodes of that short series, whatever you want to call it, deals with young teachers molesting their students. Okay, just about every single episode on there, and there are hundreds of episodes, okay? This is a big problem in America. It's a problem that we really have not taken many steps to deal with. I don't feel we have. And the problem always yields the same questions. Why does it happen? How can we stop it? And, you know, things like that. You know, and we never get an answer. What we get are pitches for possible answers. We don't have an answer, because there is no an answer. Okay, the answer is a multitude of things, all of which makes people uncomfortable to discuss, like, you know, the internet. Nobody wants to blame the internet for things any more than they want to blame video games for violence in young people. Okay, but when you combine all these things together, it creates a problem. All right, it's not just one thing, it's many things. And I think that if we really give a shit at all about wanting to try to control this, which, you know, you can't stop it. You can never stop it, period. Okay? There's no way you can stop any of these things any more than you can stop theft. Okay? You can't stop theft. You can't stop prostitution. You can't stop any of that stuff. But what you can do is lessen it. What you can do is decrease it. All right? But it's always going to be there. And we always have to be vigilant about it and make sure that it stays a small problem. But we haven't done that. And so the problem has gotten very big. And people like Trump who feed that bad thing, you know, with whatever they're doing, okay? Because really, money creates the problem. And Trump sets up all these things, these pageants and whatever or not, you know, to feed the need of other pedophiles out there to be able to get access to stuff like that. This is what he does. All right. And so people like him keep the soil fertile for more of the same. And if we give a shit at all about our kids, you know, we would push to have Trump, you know, answer for all that, and to answer for the shit that he's done with Jeffrey Epstein. Because again, Jeffrey Epstein, same thing. He kept the soil fertile for pedophilia. You know, and this stuff has got to come to us. It has to be put under control. We can't just look at this as a, you know, a problem that exists in a shadow or in a corner somewhere where, you know, we can ignore it. No, it's everywhere. It's all around us, and some of us, we may not even realize who they are. They could be somebody that you're a friend with right now, and they're involved in that stuff. You know, you just can't take for granted. Now, I'm not trying to say everybody should walk around suspicious of each other, but when it comes out that somebody you know is involved in that, you shouldn't take it as a shock. You should just be like, well, I didn't see the signs. He was a very good, or she was a very good actor, knew how to cover their tracks. But what the reasons they always get caught, of course, is they get too comfortable doing what they're doing, and they slip up. They get sloppy. And somebody catches on to it. And Trump, well, this is a guy who wasn't very good at hiding what he's up to. He got very sloppy. But because he had money and he had lawyers, he could fight his way out of prison. Okay? He could keep himself out of prison. And, of course, everybody admired the man because he's wealthy. So everybody would just chuckle and laugh and giggle when he would say things like grabbing women by the pussy and stuff like that. And they would just say, oh, he's just joking. They want to say that because they like the fact that he's getting away with things. They like the fact that he's wealthy, he's rich, and they all want to be a part of his action. Okay, hence MAGA, right? So, as you can see, this guy's depravity sinks to an extremely low level. Okay, and we just. I don't think we've seen the bottom of his pit yet. I really don't. I think that we've yet to see what's really there that Maxwell has got hanging over his head. She knows stuff about him that if it got out, it would bury him permanently. Other people know stuff about him that if it got out, it would bury him permanently. He's got a lot of victims out there keeping their mouths shut. Some of them have been coming forward, but when they do, they end up like, or they'll end up just like, Virginia Giuffre. I mean, they don't make it easy on these people to speak out. And so when you have that kind of thing going on, you know this is a big, big fucking issue. And it needs to be looked at in every fucking way. Because if you don't, and you let this fucking guy keep doing what he's doing, what the hell does that mean for people that are out there trying to put an end to this kind of stuff or trying to stop it? Okay, you're going to say, well, if that person becomes president, it's okay if he's a pedophile. It's okay if he rapes women. It's okay, if he molests, your kids or something like that because he's the president. Is that what you want for a president? Is that what a president is to you now? I have to say, if this is a so-called Christian nation, it speaks very ill of us that we would allow something like that to go on and people just stay quiet about it, because to them, politics means more to them than the religion that they like to wear as a badge of honor. Okay, politics before religion. I can't think of any pastor out there, any evangelical that would, encourage their audience to go out and just put politics over their own faith. I mean, that'd be like, destroying your own faith. But, that's kind of like what's happening, really. I think about it. We look around us and we see all these crimes happening, and we say, where's this nation's soul? I'd say we sold it for politics, is what happened. We turned all our religions, not just Christianity, but every fucking religion that's in this country. We've exchanged it for politics. We've turned our politics into the biggest religion in this country. Okay? That's a no-no. Okay? Politics is never that important. Okay? It can't be. If politics has become your religion, then you've lost yourself. All right? You've lost your way. You've become, what can I say? One of those people that, that's just lost. Because you're never going to have any fulfillment in politics. You're never going to be happy with politics. Okay? It's not going to do anything for you except make you angry, bitter, and pissed off. And I think a lot of people in this country have put politics over everything now. Let's take a look at what happened with Colbert, on his show. He's gone. Well, he will be next year, but CBS sold him out. Why? Well, because Donald Trump was putting pressure on CBS in an attempt to stop this merger that was going to happen between CBS and Skydance. Okay, because hey, the FCC is under his administration, so by using them, he could interfere with that merger, and he would stop doing it for the price of getting rid of Colbert. You get rid of Colbert, I'll keep the dogs off your door, and you guys can do your merger. He blackmailed them, and CBS went for it. Okay. So they settled whatever the hell was it, $16 million or something. They settled, and they threw Colbert under the bus, and here we are. But you see, we've turned our politics, we've weaponized it, and we've sold our soul to it, and people are just afraid, of standing up to it, to people that do that sort of thing, because we're so tied to money that when we see a thing, an opportunity where we could save our own necks, financially, and somebody comes into the mix and he makes you do something immoral, like getting rid of somebody for, doing what they were hired to do, which was entertain. If someone's muscled you to do something like that, it's not right. It's immoral. It's unethical. Okay? Sure, it's a private business. They can do whatever the hell they want. But on the outside, as a consumer, as a citizen, seeing this from the other side of the lens, it looks very nasty. It looks very unethical. This guy was making CBS a lot of fucking money on his show. Okay? I don't care what anybody says about, his ratings, this and that. No. He was making more money for CBS than any other enterprise they had going on at that company. Okay, everybody was tuning in to watch him at night. Okay, and they sacrificed him to appease a madman. When more companies do that sort of thing, and there will be, what do you think that does? It just tells everybody that, hey, look, we can't beat this guy. He's more powerful than we are. We can't stop him. Is this the kind of president you want, that instead of doing the job of helping the country, he's actually doing the job of tearing it apart? Is that the kind of president you want? Everybody that's voted in the last election, every single one of us, MAGA included, we all voted because we had problems with this country, that we wanted to see it get better. Trump was the last person, okay, to trust to fix these problems. All these problems that we have, whatever the hell they are. I don't care what they are. All right? You people that voted for Trump thought he was going to be the answer to your problems. You didn't trust Kamala Harris to fix anything. But you turned to him. And the reason why I say that is because knowing all the faults that he had, he made you feel like he was making promises to you that he was going to intend to keep, okay? And you voted for that. You fell for it, okay? Ever since he's been in office now, he's done anything but, okay? He hasn't done anything to back up his, or to follow through on his promises. So, like I said, this is, you know, you people voted for someone to fix your problems. You didn't get it, all right? And that's what he's doing now. He's by blackmailing CBS to get rid of Colbert so they could go through with their goddamn merger with Skydance. That is not helping the country. That's hurting it. You know, silencing people because they're talking bad about somebody you like is not an excuse to have them lose their job. Okay, that's wrong. And CBS didn't have to do that. They could have fought that and won that case, but they didn't want to do it because they're, you know, Paramount's broke. Okay, without this merger, Paramount was going to go bankrupt. That's how bad it was for them. They were going to go bankrupt if they didn't have this merger. They haven't been making a lot of money. Their streaming service is shit. Okay, they haven't got anything on there that's worth watching. They've got nothing going for them. Their movies haven't been bringing in a lot of money. Okay, so Paramount's been hurting here for a long time. And this merger was needed to save them. And so they had to, you know, and CBS is owned by Paramount. So, hey, Trump says, I'll let you go through with that merger. You just get rid of Colbert. I don't want to see him on TV anymore. Okay? Well, like I said, that's what happened. That's why he's gone. And we have to put a stop to that kind of crookedness in Washington, okay? If all the presidents we've ever had in the past, okay, they all get picked on by the comedians and stuff like that. Every single one of them does. Saturday Night Live has got a history, a vault, a fucking all the way back to their beginnings of making fun of every president we've ever had. Trump's the only one that can't take it. Trump is the only one that cannot take it. Why is he so worried about how people think about him? Because he knows that without people supporting him, he wouldn't be president anymore. But he's done so much to make us dislike him. How does he expect us to keep liking him? He can't force us to like him. He certainly, by getting rid of Colbert, is not going to make people happy. Okay? So, I feel like, you know, this is a guy that really does not belong in the White House in so many fucking ways. More than just from him, more than just him being a rotten asshole, but because of all the crimes that he's involved in, is still involved in. Okay? You know, I feel like, you know, it should have been a no-brainer last election on who to vote for. At least it was for me. How MAGA couldn't see that, you know, they were so blinded by politics, they put that ahead of their own fucking religion, and that, which means they didn't even have the measurement of what's moral and immoral about Trump. They wanted him in there. They weren't even using any gauge on whether or not he was fit to be president, okay? They knew his crimes. They knew what he was. They liked what he was saying, and yet, okay, here we are. But anyway, watching that video, it gave me a lot of things to think about, you know, and just more than just on Trump, but on the whole basic health of this country and where we are as a society. And we got a lot of healing to do here. Long after Trump is gone, okay, we still have a big problem in this country that we're going to have to adjust. So that way we don't end up in the same boat again. And if we ain't willing to take those steps, getting rid of Trump is not the answer to this country's problems. It's going to be getting rid of Trump and everything that made Trump what he is. Okay? Everything that is what creates these monsters in this country has got to go along with him. We have to feed the soul of this country again. We got to. And if that means, we have to go back to the roots of religion and stuff like that, maybe to bring some people closer to the morality, then so be it. But we got to do something. We can't just keep sailing down this road and letting things just continue to escalate and get more assholes in the government. Can't do that anymore. We got to stop that. And we're always going to be where we're sitting right now. We're always going to be sitting under the gun, basically. We're never going to be comfortable with who we have leading the country if we don't try to get some fucking civility back into this country and into our politics. We have to. All right, that's it for today. I'll talk to you later.